Hello, hello. Good day, everybody. This is Mike Payne, the owner of No Pain Roofing, and we're doing another podcast. We're going to be hitting up the old Skylight topic today. Calgary Skylights. Skylights in Calgary. Let's just talk about all those keywords today. So,
Calgary Skylights.
yeah.
Skylights Calgary.
All right. One more time. No, just kidding. All right. Well, I think that Skylights get a pretty bad rap, and probably because people don't wrap them. That's probably one reason why they get a bad rap.
Yeah, it's very rare I find a skylight wrapped in ice and water membrane or peel and stick underlayment of any variety when I'm reflashing. So yeah, not enough love given to the trade in those circumstances.
You didn't get the joke, I don't think.
Oh, I got it. I understood the joke.
You didn't react.
Oh.
Bad rap? You got a bad rap? Oh,
We need reactions.
Mike.
There you go. That's
My
one.
dad jokes are on point today. Yeah, they're also one-time use a lot of times when it comes to the flashing. So I see a lot of people reusing the flashings. I think a lot of roofing contractors are afraid of raising the price on the client, so they're trying to be as lowest as possible, which isn't always what the client wants, or at least the client thinks they want that until the skylight starts leaking. We like to work with the Velux Skylight, of course, because it's known as the no-leak skylight. If you just wrap it properly, put on the the flashing package that comes standard. I mean, we've never had a single leak with any of those skylights.
Yeah, we have a fairly hefty warranty along with the Velux packages that we offer, and I remember installing some of these packages even 4 years ago or so, and I can't think of a single callback after a reflash, right?
Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, the Velux flashing kits are tried and true.
Yeah, you don't need a warranty with them, really. I mean, like, yeah, you need a warranty, but I've never had anybody actually need a warranty with a Velux standard kit.
Yeah, I mean, two of the most important components of the reflash kit are prefabricated as well, like single pieces, no seams, no room for workmanship error in terms of the install. So I
Right.
think that's a pretty huge plus.
Right. I think the secret sauce is really in the wrap and how you secure the skylight glass itself. Because what I find the big mistake is that people won't wrap them, and if they do, then they don't do just a couple little minor details with the back pan and the front pan that makes all the difference. And the next thing that people do is they just don't put any pressure on the glass when they install it. So it's just like there's just this loose seal and air blowing inside the house. So yeah, all you got to do is a couple little tricks of the trade, which unfortunately aren't common knowledge. And
Right, yeah.
That's I guess that's what makes us different from the others.
I like to think of the glass, or in other words, the skylight itself, as like the lid to a Tupperware container.
Right.
Typically, you'd have clamps on either side of the lid, creating that pressure you need to create an airtight
Totally.
seal. But without those built-in clips
That's a
on
good
the
example.
skylight curb, you definitely need to apply downward force onto the curb of the skylight or the outside edge of the skylight itself in order to create that airtight seal with the gasket as you are installing fasteners, right? So
Right. Yeah.
the Tupperware analogy.
Yeah, that's I think it's probably like for me one of the main selling features of Velux is their gaskets. They're pretty simple. You don't have to deal with acoustic sealer and just forget our surprise guest. Oh, okay. But yeah, the acoustic sealer is a mess, I find. I mean, even you put it on nicely and everything, but if you have to take that skylight off for whatever reason, it's a lot of cleanup, a lot of mess.
It's stringy, like incredibly stringy. Like even if it's ice cold during the install, it'll still just it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, I don't like dealing with it. But
Yeah.
that does bring me to the next thing you can say about, I mean, if you do plan to reuse a skylight, a lot of cases you could just acoustic sealer it, put it back down, and that usually makes a world of difference.
Yeah, certainly.
But I always recommend just to replace your skylight. It's way less hassle, and instead of screwing around with like all the heat loss you get just through the glass.
Yeah.
That's one people don't realize too. I mean, like skylights are only, I think the maximum of skylights rated is for like 20 years, and that's the warranty on a glass package for Velux.
Yeah, I think that would vary depending on which skylight you choose, because I know that there is a variety of manufacturing. There's a variety in ways that they're put together, and in some cases, when I'm removing pre-existing skylights, they are sometimes 3 separate pieces. Right? They would have the actual frame itself, and then the first layer of glass or hard plastic, and then the third layer being the other layer of glass. So there are, rather than just this singular gasket around the curb of the skylight, there are gaskets that lie in between each panel of glass or each layer. And so there's just more and more potential for gasket failure over time.
That's pretty, I think a lot of those ones are old school.
Yeah, they are.
The old school ones you're talking about. There's also sun tunnels. You know what? I'm not a fan of the sun tunnel. It's but it is good for that spot where it's just like you don't want to do a ton of framing to open up. Maybe you even need permits or whatever, or it's maybe a tricky spot to bring light into, like natural light. So I mean, sun tunnels have their place, but I find that for the amount of light they bring in, I just don't really think they're worth it in my opinion.
The experience I have with the install, I would say that I don't enjoy them purely because of the work that goes into installing them. I mean, if they are installed previously in, say, a home that you purchased, then, I mean, you can't really do much about it unless you choose to have them removed, which is actually a quote that I had made recently, to have some sun tunnels removed and capped. But, I mean, you're getting ambient light rather than a view of the sky, right? I mean, it's typically
that too.
Typically like a diffuser type.
Yeah, very filtered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
And the installation value is not that good on them either. You can get the winter package on them, but it's not going to beat having an R60 insulation by any means. And I find that they tend to get bugs in them after a little while inside the.
Yeah, you'll look up and see little black specks laying around in certain areas. Yeah,
exactly.
It's definitely important to insulate the tunnel itself, and in a lot of cases I find a lack of insulation. Again, heat from inside the home will radiate or penetrate the actual cap you'd have on the ceiling inside the home. Mm-hmm. Therefore, heat up the interior of the tunnel itself, and condensation issues are inevitable if it's not insulated adequately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, I think it just takes a lot of work. There's a lot of work, and you can tweak them or whatever, and get a decent sun tunnel. But I like I said, I just don't think they're. I would take a 2x4 skylight with a nice blind package on it or something over a sun tunnel any day. Yeah.
Another issue, with the job that I had mentioned recently about removing the sun tunnels, their concern is just the lack of, how difficult it is for them to create a dark setting inside the master bedroom come summertime, right? If they're, say, to bed early or so and it's still, daylight, they have a really difficult time falling asleep.
Right, yeah.
And while I was there, I kind of told them, I mean, you could consider using like a blackout curtain. You could cut into the shape of the diffuser on the roof so that it's a temporary seal if you, would like to have the comfort or I guess the option to turn them on and off, I mean, so to speak. He was more interested in having them completely removed. But
true.
Yeah,
right.
Not being able to fall asleep because it's so bright was the issue he was having.
Yeah, I personally like a pitch black room.
Likewise.
When I go to sleep. You can get I think like triple pleated black blind packages for those for those skylights in there, all remote control and solar paneled and stuff like that. So, but pretty expensive. So that's the drawback.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think I would really. I mean, most areas that would be suitable for a skylight, typically master bathroom or above dining areas or the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, I don't really see a need for the blinds there, and that's just personal choice. I don't really see how much of an impact that would have, or if the extra money spent on a blind system would be worthwhile. If it were in your bedroom, that'd be different, as I explained, come summertime when we have so much daylight. But, yeah, I mean, to each their own, of course.
I think one of the main issues I see with skylights in bathrooms is that they don't have the bathroom exhaust fan up in the tunnel. Like, I think that you should. And I've actually seen some smart builders do it. They'll put the fan up in the tunnel, because what happens when you have a shower? All that air just sits up in the glass, and condensates and builds up. I mean, if you have a good R value going on up there, it's usually not a big deal. But I think it's just by principle, you should always have your bath fan up in that skylight tunnel.
That reminds me of a job very recently that I had quoted. They were, okay, well, what I should say is a job Carly mentioned earlier that I have scheduled for tomorrow. I did a 4x4 skylight replacement at that property recently. Reflash. And upon further inspection, the master bathroom had a big jacuzzi tub and a 4x4 skylight right above it. The skylight tunnel itself was probably 4 feet or so, fairly deep.
Yeah.
But the only bath fan in the bathroom was in that sub-bathroom area above the toilet, which had a door. And it was, of course, a 50 CFM fan, essentially separate from the master, or the bigger area of the master bathroom. So that lack of exhaust fan in the skylight tunnel was the sole cause for all the condensation issues she was experiencing and all the leaking.
That's funny, that because people usually think that the bathroom fan is to basically evacuate the stink after having a poop.
Yeah.
But it's not really its primary function. Its primary function is just getting that humidity out of there.
Yeah.
So I mean, so you can't. So yeah, some people are like, oh look, the toilet room has its own bathroom fan, and the rest of the bathroom doesn't have a fan.
Right.
Yeah.
So I contacted Roger that HVAC.
Oh yeah.
He actually pointed me to Clem of Dedicated Electrical. I spoke with him and got a quote together for the client, having a fan installed inside the skylight tunnel.
Perfect.
The HVAC might be a little tricky, of course, to negate the use of a P-trap and whatnot, and having adequate horizontal length. That'll be a fun job of its own, putting that together. But
you know what you could do for that? What you would do with that, so if it's for one thing, that the skylight tunnel itself needs to have lots of insulation around it. But what you could do is just build out, so if you got your skylight tunnel kind of like this, that's where where it ends is here. So then you could have the HVAC just run down the wall, and then like this, and then out like that.
Right.
And then just stack some insulation out. So instead of stacking it up, stack it out and up, and then you shouldn't get any condensation.
I was thinking with the fan placement, the adapter on the fan needs to be facing downwards for sure. And if we ran the HVAC down and then horizontal and then up, that might be the only real way to go about it.
Exactly. And then slope it away. You'll never get any dripping or anything going on in there.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just, the key is insulating it as it comes out of the wall.
Right. Yeah. It would also be important to have a powerful fan. If you had a fan that has a switch built into it, typically between 90 CFM and 110, I'd have that switch to 110 CFM and running for adequate amounts of time.
Well, a simple way for people to ventilate their bathrooms is just keep in mind 1 CFM is like 1 square foot inside inside their bathroom. But I do think there's some caveats. What if the master bathroom is huge and there's a lot of depth and it's got like really high ceilings on it? I think you might want to have a even bigger fan to compensate for that. But I mean, standard bathrooms with standard ceilings, I think you could stick with the 1 square foot rule.
There's a video I often show clients as what I should say is that I opt to inspect the fan itself. Typically bathrooms only on the upper floor, and there's typically 2, sometimes 3 different bath fans. As I am removing the grill and checking the CFM rating, I will show them a video. It's only a minute long. You can YouTube bath fan sizing, and it describes exactly what you described, how CFM is based off of square footage of the bathroom itself.
Right.
And if it is 100 square feet or less, you need to contribute at least 1 CFM per square foot. So if it's 85 square feet, you need a minimum of 85 CFM.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And they have some that are adjustable. You can adjust their square footage. But another thing that you do need to look out for is that there's some space underneath the door in the bathroom. Because if it's totally tight to the ground, I think there's something like you need like a 1 inch or something like that off the ground, just to make sure that the fresh air can come in and circulate its way out.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I was saying too, 100 square feet or less, you need CFM that matches square footage. 100 square feet or more, you need to contribute you need to allow for 50 CFM per accessory. So that being tub, shower, jacuzzi, essentially.
Oh. Okay.
They don't. I think they account for toilets. Actually, it's toilets, tubs, and showers. So if you have a larger bathroom, you need 50 CFM per accessory.
Sinks.
Sinks don't really count.
Yeah, 'cause
they don't
water
really
in there.
throw up
Yeah.
a lot of moisture. But when you
toilets
flush,
do?
like you can see videos on YouTube
Toilets
of
are cold water, so you'd think that water would just like go away.
it does kind of radiate into the room. But when you flush a toilet with the lid up, a whole lot of moisture actually does
It's actually kind of
flush
gross.
into the air.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, there are
like,
videos
thinking
of it.
about it.
Yeah, I know one of my buddies was like always like, "Hey, you flush this toilet, you put the lid all the way down." Smart idea.
That'd be a new rule in
No,
our
it's important. Yeah. I actually have been trying to do that lately. Not that you would notice. Yeah, exactly. Not that you would notice. But no, as I said, 3 accessories, you need at least 150 CFM. But I've yet to come across a fan that actually reaches 150 CFM. 110 is the most I've found. The nicest fans I've seen are the Panasonic bath fans.
Oh, yeah.
They switch between 90 and 110. Whether or not there's a fan out there that actually surpasses 110 CFM.
I'm pretty sure there's
I'm
some
not
200 CFM fans. Mike Holmes was talking a little while about one of his preferred fans. I'll have to double check what he was thinking, but he had some bathroom fans that he thought were really good. I think it might have been the Panasonic.
Yeah, because even in Home Depot, when I'm in the HVAC aisle, which is fairly often, I look through the bath fans they have, and I'm only really finding no more than 110 CFM.
Really?
The standard non-switchable, usually 50 CFM. It's like the standard, homeowner special type fan, which I would certainly recommend to our viewers. Go and see the CFM rating on each bath fan you have, because I very, very often during inspections find inadequately powered bath fans inside of master bathrooms right above jacuzzi tubs, right?
Right.
They mentioned in the video I had mentioned as well that a tub is one thing, but a jacuzzi tub throws a whole lot more moisture into the air or humidity. So I think you need to allow for 100 CFM for a jacuzzi tub itself. That's why with this quote that I put together recently for this client, she certainly needed a fan that could accommodate the jacuzzi tub that she has. So bare minimum of at least 110 CFM.
Well, I would check because I could swear
I'll have to
I
ask.
saw some 200 CFM fans out there, but maybe there's not standard in Home Depot. Maybe
I'll have
special
to ask
order.
Clem about that.
Yeah,
What he has. But again, another part of that estimate was whether or not she wants to run these fans in tandem off of the same switch, or for a surcharge have a dedicated switch for the new fan. That was another part of the estimate. So
Well, going back to Calgary Skylights a little bit.
right.
I
Skylights. right.
think. Here's the thing: you can get skylights that open, and that's probably one of your most effective ways to actually dry out a bathroom. So if you have a skylight tunnel going into a bathroom, and you have a remote opening skylight, well, you have a shower, you can lift that thing up, let everything out. It'll dry out faster and with less issues.
That would be great. That would certainly be fantastic.
Yeah, but the problem is the cost.
Yeah,
And it's a
exactly.
big cost. But the next thing is that I don't know how well that would work in the wintertime, because, if you let all that condensation out, is the gasket or the seal going to get condensation on it? I would say,
it would
yeah,
compromise
probably.
the integrity
So
of
yes,
yeah.
you close it, then it's probably just going to freeze shut. That's what I think would happen.
Yeah, because, well, first, anyways, what Carly showed me
Oh, yeah.
at Home Depot, Air King's limited 200 CFM bath fan,
Oh, okay.
which
Sorry, I'm waiting.
I've yet to come across, but that's good to know. They are, I guess, accessible.
I think that 200 is probably the max you'll ever need.
Probably. It said
Yeah.
quiet, too. It also
Quiet?
said
They're
super
not
quiet.
available actually in Alberta. There you go. You
Oh.
you have to order
Special
them.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Uh-oh.
sometimes you might need to do a special order, and that's
Right.
fine. I mean, in most cases, bathroom fans aren't an emergency.
Yeah. As for the mechanical skylight, I believe is what I would call the skylight you've been describing. If you were to open the skylight midwinter, run a jacuzzi tub or shower, you would anticipate at least some amount of frost and ice to form around the gasket. As you close the skylight, of course, it would lock into place and force itself or latch itself closed, but whether or not we have enough frost and ice build up in those areas to compromise the airtight seal is for question.
I could basically guarantee you it's going to freeze. Yeah. So I mean, bathroom fan, I don't think there's any way you can actually do away with it, but I think it would be pretty darn handy during those days that aren't that cold, or like just during the summer or whatever, to let the humidity out and keep things nice and dry. Another thing people need to watch out with skylights is the very deep skylight tunnel. So you got to make sure you have that tunnel nice and and by the tunnel I mean like the drywall that leads up to the skylight. You got to make sure you have like R30 at least in those walls. And then, for our climate anyway. And then next thing is a triple pane is advisable as well, because it's just the longer the tunnel, the colder it gets. So yeah, in some cases you just have to have a triple pane skylight, which again ups the cost. But skylights are surprisingly affordable. If you just for a standard glass package these days, for like a 4x4, you could probably do that for like $1,500. Flashing package, probably another $700 on there. It's like $2,200 to reflash and to relid, we should say, a skylight. While though putting in a brand new skylight, from scratch, I want a skylight in my bedroom. I think I've seen the standard cost around that, like around $6,000 or something like that.
We have a job upcoming, which is to build a skylight.
Oh yeah,
from scratch. We would obviously facilitate only the install on the exterior, whereas the skylight tunnel and interior finishing would be left to. I think we had a crew, or we had a subcontractor interior refinishing. I can't remember who exactly.
I think there's Urban City Builders.
Yeah, I think
that
so.
one. Yeah.
Right, I think so. But yeah, we're waiting for that to come up here.
Sweet.
But, that's a clay tile roof too, so that'll be a little bit different for the crew that's on that job. But that'll be an interesting build, and it'll be a valuable experience for all of those involved.
Right.
Only because you need to get a little bit more specific with the with flashing the skylight itself and working into a clay tile roof. But
yeah, this clay tile or concrete tile definitely is a bit of a game changer, so to speak. Really changes the way you got to do things. But lead flashing seems to do the trick most of the time.
Yeah, luckily it's malleable. I guess that's the only real plus, I guess, is that it's malleable. And
Wakaflex is my favorite though.
Right, yeah, I forgot about Wakaflex. I wonder if that comes in any other sizes, because the rolls we get are only like 8 inches
There's
or
two different sizes.
I'm wondering if there's
bigger ones.
Stuff's great.
Yeah.
I remember I haven't worked with that in a while.
We'll have to use Wakaflex on that guy. But I think we should talk a little bit about the features of a skylight you can get. I mean, they are limited, but there's a wide variety, I guess. You have in some senses, but basically a skylight can come just bare bones. You look up and you just see a glass. The other one can be a manual skylight opening, so you have to like lift a big rod up there, pull the blinds down that way, or you could do a solar blind where the blind is on a kind of a cool looking remote, or nowadays on your phone. And now they have the venting, so you have to open it up. You got the blinds on there as well, all solar powered, pretty cool. But the main feature that I really like, the last one, is the rain sensor. So that's one of the biggest things and the biggest problems you have with an opening skylight, wintertime or summertime, is that you leave your house, you're at work, and you're like, oh, did I leave the skylight open? You don't have to worry about that with the rain sensor. Any little moisture that hits it, it just automatically closes.
Right.
Boom, problem solved.
I just wonder how sensitive that sensor is, because Carly and I's vehicle has automatic wipers as well. And we've yet to actually get serious rain since we've gotten the vehicle, but it seemingly takes a little bit more rain than I thought it would before it kicks on. But I digress.
From what I understand, I don't know how it works in the snow, but one raindrop, boom, closes.
Right. Yeah, no, I digress again, but I'm worried about, like, I can't wait to get a chip in that windshield too, because it's a heated windshield as well, and so like
That's so
that'll be
expensive.
like a $400 windshield probably.
Nope. We
No.
have a warranty that covers our windshields.
For how long?
I think 2 windshields.
2.
Nice.
So don't sweat it.
No chips yet.
My last truck also had a very fancy windshield on it, and I had the worst luck with it. Got chipped, broken, replaced it, and it was like within a week it was cracked and
Well,
broken
you had
again.
bad luck with that Ram, anyways, didn't you? Like, didn't you have? I can't remember what the problem was, but there was like some internal. What was the biggest issue with that? I remember there was something with that one.
I had my 2014, I think, Ram that had issues after like 120,000 kilometers. It got fixed by the Pennzoil warranty, which is pretty sweet. But my Ram before that, there was no issues.
Right, I'm
Really
thinking of
good.
the nice white one that had the hydraulic leveling and all that. That was
Yeah.
the 2014, that one?
2014,
Right.
yeah, had the hydraulic leveling.
Right.
That was cool. But
But yeah, anyways, fancy rain sensors on Skylights. It must be 2023. Hey, holy.
yeah, I
time
wonder what
to
they're
be
gonna come out
alive.
with next. What are they gonna come out with next?
I was just thinking as you were speaking, they have like auto tint sunglasses, right? Or just prescription glasses
Yeah.
that auto tint in the sunlight. I wonder if they could incorporate that into Skylight itself.
I'm 100% sure they could, but I think that would kind of defeat the purpose of the Skylight.
Right. But again, I was flying recently, and more modern planes have that dimmable windows with a switch, right? It's actually a gas. It's
yeah.
gas. I can't remember what. I Googled it at the time, but there's gas in between 2 panes of glass, and they send an electrical charge through it, and it almost completely blacks out the window.
That's sweet.
And whether or
that's a
not they
good
can
feature.
incorporate that into
yeah.
Skylight, which I'm sure they will eventually.
One day.
Velux, get on it. But anyways, a remote control that could actually dim it the way you would dim the windows on an airplane. That'd be
I
cool.
would like to see that, because the blinds, I mean, are great, but they're also like in the way, kind of. Like you don't have to. I mean, you see the blinds, you see a feature, but if you could just dim the glass,
Exactly.
that would be way better.
Like they've got that. They have those kind of features in airplanes, 40,000 feet above ground. There's got to be, Carly. That might be something you should look into, well, if you can, because that's kind of old news, I think, in the world of airplanes. Or I wonder if anyone's really fabricated a Skylight with that sort of technology. I mean,
I'm sure it's in the works.
it should be. I mean, yeah, that would be great. I guess maybe because maybe the pressure that the glass experiences at those altitudes might make it easier to do, because it is pressurized gas between 2 planes of glass. I wonder if that's more difficult to fabricate at sea level. I don't know.
Hard to say, but I do know that Velux Skylights also come with hydrophobic glass. So, hydrophobic.
Right.
The glass is scared of the water.
Right.
Or is the water scared of the glass?
Yeah, good call. Hard to say.
There's some comments. They're not questions, but just so you know, Chad says, Bertie, you've jinxed yourself.
No, I knocked on wood. We're fine. No,
And
that windshield's going to last a year at least.
Francisca
2
says,
years.
Hey, Mikey.
Who? Oh,
Ooh,
hello.
that's me.
Hi, Franny,
That is our...
a.k.a. Frankie, a.k.a.
Is that
Francisca.
Blake's mom?
Blake's mom.
Good kid.
Yeah,
Good roofer.
Blake is a hell of a good roofer.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of having Blake start out on my crew when I managed the roofing crew, and he didn't waver, he didn't shake, he didn't quiver. He was up on the roof, he was working, and I can attest to his bravery, we'll say.
When I think of Blake, I think of excellent, affordable, and reliable. Okay, well, I think we've beat this Skylight topic into submission. I'm sure it won't be the last time
Right.
we talk about it, but is there anything else you think you have to cover on there?
Yeah, there was one thing just in way of installation. So we mentioned using like a peel and stick ice and water underlayments underneath new Skylight flashings if they're not pre-existing. Even if they are pre-existing, if you're opting for a reflash, you should certainly, if you can, remove the pre-existing underlayments.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And because in this case with the recent reflash that I did, they had nothing but asphalt underlayments that only just went up to the edge of the curb, but actually cutting that asphalt out about 2 feet away from the curb all around the Skylight to allow for the peel and stick underlayments to adhere to the decking itself and wrapping up the side of the curb. That'd be important to at least verify is being done if you to have a reflash done by any other company. But other than the use of peel and stick underlayments, although you do have prefabricated back and front pans from Velux, there are gaps in the underlayments used when wrapping up the sides and around the front and back of the Skylight. So a practice that we've been using involves using sealants in these corners where we have wrapping happening around each four corners of the Skylight itself. And I think, as you would put it, using these sealants and bleeding them out or through these gaps to prevent any water penetration if water were to surpass the flashing kits.
Yeah, I think we got to make sure it's the appropriate caulking, because sometimes the caulking can degrade the underlayment itself. But Velux states that you need to have patches. Use the patches,
Right.
the peel and stick patch. I don't have a lot of faith in those things. I think they just kind of come off. So yeah, I think that using, like bleeding out a caulking is a nice secondary way to keep the water out. But
Right. I can actually show a photo of what I just described briefly. You want the key? Where's the kitty? So it might be a little bit difficult to see, but you can definitely
Tell
kind
him.
of see how
Tell him.
the Skylight is wrapped, or the underlayments are wrapped in this area. Might be difficult to see, but you can see a little squirt of sealant peeking through between the
quite
peel and
blurry.
stick underlayments.
It's quite
That would just
blurry.
allow for, in case any water penetrates the flashing, it'll actually go into that area. But
Whatever.
anyways, unfortunately that camera is not set to autofocus, so a little blurry, but I think you got the point there.
yeah, it seemed such a better visual than just explaining it. But
Right.
all right, well, let's wrap her up. We have something in the works with Promotional Bridge. Going to be doing this cool prize draw type feature to the podcast. We've been doing the mystery word, but we've kind of phased the mystery word out for now, and we're just going to do something a little more interactive. We're going to have a lot more winners, a lot more chances to win, so that's pretty cool. We are also about to work with a charity. I won't make any announcements yet, but we're partnering up with a charity. It's going to be very cool, and you guys can tune in not next week, but the week after, and we'll be doing a interview with this surprise guest. But it won't be a surprise though, because we will be, releasing some footage of what we're going to be doing. Very cool stuff. So very helpful to the Calgary area. We always like to keep things nice and local as usual. And I think that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button on YouTube. If you haven't been to our YouTube, please go there and subscribe and help us out with a good thumbs up and, again, a subscribe. Thank you.
Should we maybe, if it's too late, we should make a little announcement about the good news we got today.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Like,
Okay.
she's so used to winning.
If
she
it's not
doesn't
too
even
late.
Oh,
notice.
no, it's not too late.
That might be a good idea.
It's not
Sorry if we'd already switched screens and all that stuff.
Today is the day that we have won the Top Choice Award, third year in a row, taking it home. And I'd just like to thank all you guys for voting, helping us out, take the title again. Really appreciate it. It's a great honor just to be nominated, but to win it 3 times in a row. I think that speaks volume. We're not going to get complacent. We're going to keep on giving her, and we're not going to let your guys' votes go to waste. So, thanks a lot for helping us win the Top Choice Award, and bye for now.